Good morning. Good morning. Hello. Good afternoon. Good evening, depending on what time it is that you are watching this. I am Ruth Finney, and this is You Can Talk, where I am committed to talking about uh, helping build stronger relationships through improving communication. So, if you are someone who is working on trying to improve your communication, then this is the channel for you. And I hope that you would become a part of this talk family. This morning, I want to talk, however, about rebuilding trust. Um, Trust in a relationship is critical to maintaining it and having longevity in the relationship. It's very difficult to have a long term committed relationship without trust. And if trust has been broken in the relationship, it can be hard to figure out how to get it back, or how to even where to even begin to work towards regaining it. Because once it's been broken, it really is almost like a death. Good morning, Minister Terrence. How are you this morning? Good to see you, Burns. Good to see you. Grand rising to you, my sister. Um, yes, I am well. I am well. It is a hump day Wednesday, and it's a short but long week for me. Those short weeks always seem to be extra long. So, um, yeah, that's basically what I'm preparing myself for, a long short week. But anyway, so yes, if you've had trust that has been broken, it can be very hard to figure out how to earn it back. So this morning, I just want to talk to you all about a few tips that and a few things that you can do to sort of work towards regaining trust if it's been broken. Um, the first thing you have to realize is that it takes time. It's going to take time, and you have to be patient when you're trying to regain trust in the relationship. When you have lost trust in the relationship, it's really like a death. It's really like a death of, something that was in the relationship. And just like in real life, when someone has died, you can't tell them what their grieving should look like, what their grieving process should look like, or what their grieving time should look like. It's the same thing when you're trying to rebuild trust. When someone has been hurt uh, to their core, um, you can't rush them into the process of getting over what has been lost. It is something that, and that's where we tend to get in trouble, because we lose patience and we develop these expectations of what we think, of how quickly we think a person ought to get over the hurt. And we cannot control that, uh, how long it should take for a person to get over the hurt. We can do things to work towards, you know, speeding up the process or rebuilding the process of having trust. But we can't tell people how long that should take and what that should look like. And when we get impatient with that, we tend to we tend to get upset, and we tend to act out, and we tend to say things that we shouldn't say and do things that we shouldn't do, and it ends up making the process worse and not better. Good morning, Wanston. How are you? Good to see you. Good to see you. Welcome in. Welcome in. We are talking about the process of rebuilding trust. So so that's the first thing we need to do. We need to realize that it's going to take some time, and that we're going to have to be patient, and that we have to give people room to grieve the loss of what has been lost in the relationship. Good morning, Be the Difference. How are you? Good to see you. What is up? What is up? Good to see you. Welcome in, welcome in. I appreciate y'all being here. I have a t-shirt called Rebuilding Trust. That is awesome. I love that. So y'all go on Be the Difference clothing line. I know she has a clothing line. Look on there, look for that shirt, and order that. That is awesome. I had no idea. I'm gonna have to go look at that myself. So thank you for sharing that. Um, Rebuilding trust is not an easy process, but you have to recognize that it is a process. It does, and it is a process that takes time. So give room for the person to grieve the loss. Give room for God to move on their heart, but don't leave too much room where you're not. Where you don't allow for forgiveness, or you allow too much room for the enemy to come in and cause problems. Just because it's going to take time doesn't mean that you still can't be working towards the steps of rebuilding the trust. So the first thing is time and patience. The second thing that you can work towards is being consistent. Being consistent. When you're trying to rebuild trust, part of the reason that the trust is lost is because people don't know what to expect from you anymore, right? I don't know who you are. I don't know what you're doing. I don't know what you're capable of, how you're capable of hurting me, how you're capable of damaging this relationship more. When people don't know what to expect anymore. So you have to be consistent. And when I say be consistent, I mean being consistent in the areas of your words, being consistent in the area of your behavior, and being consistent in the areas of the actions that you take every day. Those are the three main things to be consistent in. Um, when you say you're going to do something, it's important that you follow through with those things. Or when you allow words to come out of your mouth, it's important that those words are a true reflection of what you are feeling and thinking in your mind. Don't just say things to just be saying them, or just be saying things because you think that's what the person wants to hear. Sometimes the things we need to say are not always necessarily the things that people want to hear, but it may be the thing that needs to be said in order for healing to occur, and in order for a change to be made, or in order for us to be able to move forward. So be consistent in your words. Make sure that what you're saying is a true reflection of what you're truly feeling in your heart, in your mind, and in your spirit. And don't be afraid to speak those things. Don't be afraid to speak those things. Be consistent in your behavior. Um, you say that you're willing to be patient. You say you're willing to be understanding, and yet we turn around and we get impatient, and we don't follow through in our understanding. And people feel that in our behavior, in our actions, when we're getting impatient. When we're getting frustrated, they feel that in our words. They feel that even in our touch. We think that we're touching someone in a loving way, but maybe it's not. We're getting impatient because we want them to just forgive. We want them to get over. We want them to move forward, and we can't tell people what that should look like for them, and we can't dictate what that should look like for them. We have to give them time, and to process what has happened, and to decide whether or not they even want to try to rebuild trust, because sometimes people don't. They're like done. But if it's for sure somebody that you have to stay in relationship with for whatever reason, maybe it's family, maybe y'all have kids together, maybe y'all work together, whatever it is, and you need to stay in the same vicinity of each other for extended periods of time or whatever, and you have to rebuild the trust. These are some things that you can do. These are some things that you can do. So be consistent in your behavior, in your words, and in your actions. The next thing is, like I said, is be honest. Honesty is key to building trust. When people get to a space where they feel like they can't believe or trust the words that are coming out of your mouth, they will never believe anything that you say. And in order to build integrity with your words have to be true. They have to be real. They have to be honest. Yes, be the difference. Honesty is freedom. I can't tell you how freeing it is to be able to be honest with people, right? Um, Sometimes the thing is, though, we have to learn how to be honest in a loving way, because we tend to want to be honest sometimes in a cruel way, because we're trying to get a reaction out of a person, or we're trying to control a situation or control how they feel. When the truth is, we have to be honest in love, and we have to have the right intentions with our honesty. We have to think about what that intention is. Are we being honest with them because we are, trying to control them or trying to manipulate the situation? Or are we being honest because we're really trying to do some healing and some rebuilding of some trust? And therefore, we have to make sure that our intentions are pure, that our intentions are good, and that if we're really wanting to rebuild trust, that we're talking with this person in a way that is sincere, that is honest, that is loving, and that is repairing, right? I'm like, my intention of telling you this is because I want us to heal this brokenness that is between us. And so when people know that your intentions are to rebuild and not to tear down, they're more willing to listen to what you have to say. So be honest with your thoughts, be honest with your feelings, but think about how you would want it said to you. Think about how you would say it to your child. Um, just to sort of change your mindset sometimes of how we come across with our words. Um, and when we do that, it changes the tone, it changes the sincerity, it changes the volume, even sometimes, of our voice. Good morning, Unbroken Sylvia. How are you? Good to see you this morning. Welcome, welcome. So be honest. Like I say, be honest and be loving with your honesty, be loving with your words. Speak the truth in love. But speaking the truth helps to rebuild the trust. When you're lying, when people feel they can't trust you, when people feel that they can't believe anything that you say, you're just creating a bigger hole and a bigger separation between the two of you. So be honest. Even if they're not being honest, be honest with yourself. Yes, I think be the difference. Yes, you also said, yeah, that's also the truth. We have to be honest with ourselves. Sometimes we lie to ourselves in order to make ourselves feel better about what has happened, when we need to be honest about the things that we might have said, the things that we might have done, our role in the issue, our role in the matter. We have to be willing to take some accountability and some responsibility for the things that we have said, the things that we have done, the ways that we may not have been honest. Um, all of it. We have to be willing to think about those things and accept them, and speak the truth on those things. Good morning, Panama City. How are you? Good to see you this morning. Good to see you. So be honest. The next one is stay available. Stay available. When we get in our feelings and when we start developing too many expectations, we we get upset because people aren't doing what we think they should be doing. We tend to want to shut down or shut people out, and that does not rebuild trust. So stay available. Vern says, be transparent. When someone died without telling me the truth, and I'm still in my feelings about it. Yes, yes, I believe that. Um, it can be very, very difficult. Yes, you have to be transparent. And transparency is hard for people to do because it requires us to be vulnerable. And being vulnerable in front of people is not always easy because we don't want to put ourselves in the position of being hurt again. And when we're trusting people, we're having to be vulnerable again. And that's the part that makes it difficult. So when you're having a hard time trusting the person, those are the times that we have to trust God. We can't, sometimes we may not be able to fully put our trust in the thing the way we want to, but we can trust God. We can trust that God will take care of us, that God will comfort us, that God will give us the peace and the understanding that we need in order to be able to move forward. So sometimes, and other times, we can trust the God that's in that person. If it's a person that's saved, people make mistakes. People make mistakes, and they may make a mistake again, and they may hurt you again. But sometimes we have to be willing to put our trust in the God that lives within them and the God that lives within us. Good morning, Creatively Created Crochet. Good to see you, Triple C. I appreciate you being here this morning. We're talking about rebuilding trust when trust has been broken. So stay available. Don't shut down. That's really critical, to not shut down and shut people out. Take the time you need. Take the time you need. Let the person know, if you're the person that's been hurt, that you need some time. That you need some time. Don't just shut them out. Just say, I know you want to talk to me. I know you want to tell me you're sorry. I know you have told me that you're sorry. I know that you want to try to heal what's been broken, but I need some time. I need some time to process what has happened. I need some time to allow God to create some forgiveness in my heart, so that I can talk with you. And then, but stay open and let them know, when I'm ready to talk, I will come to you. When I'm ready to talk, I will come to you, so that they know that you are maybe still willing to try to rebuild the trust. Okay. And let people, and if you know when that time is, give me a couple weeks, give me a month, whatever. If you know the time, fine. If you don't, fine. But just know that I will come to you when I'm ready. Okay. So that they know that you still have a willingness to want to repair what has been broken, but you need some time, that it cannot be forced, that it can't be forced. And so don't shut down. Stay available, and say, maybe not now, but in a little, maybe a little later. Let me process what has happened, and we can have these conversations. We can have a talk. I'll be willing to sit down and talk with you about some things, because sometimes we have to get our thoughts together about what we're really hurting from, because sometimes it's more than just the act that happened. Good morning, Miss Terrell. How are you? Good to see you, Miss Terrell 2.0. We're talking about rebuilding trust. Force nothing. Yes, force absolutely nothing when you're trying to rebuild trust. That's a good way to do it. Force absolutely nothing. So stay available. And then the last thing I want to talk about really is making new memories. When we're rebuilding trust, this is what's critical about understanding of rebuilding trust. When we're trying to rebuild trust, a lot of times people think we're trying to rebuild what was, and what was is now gone. And when we accept that reality, that what was is now no longer, that means in order to rebuild trust, we have to rebuild and make something new. Just the way God asks us to do things. He asks us to kill that old man and be created new, right? And so when sometimes we get so focused on trying to rebuild the relationship the way it was, until that we miss the the idea of rebuilding the relationship into something new. And that can be scary, because we don't know what that new looks like. We just know what was. So we tend to want to gravitate to what was. But in actuality, when we're trying to rebuild trust, we have to rebuild it into something new. And in order to rebuild it into something new, we have to create new memories. We have to spend, and creating new memories involves spending time together, doing different kinds of things together. Maybe you need to change the things that you do together, the way that the conversations that you have. Maybe you need to start some new hobbies or start some new activities, and work on what you talk about what maybe the relationship could look like, how you would like for it to move forward, what you want moving forward to look like. Because maybe you can't, it's too far gone. What was is what was and is no longer. And we are people of growth. We are people of change. We're constantly, um, you know, morphing ourselves into new things, and our relationships need to be morphed into new things. Life is constantly evolving, and so are our relationships. So, therefore, we when we're trying to rebuild trust, we need to realize that we can morph that relationship into something new and something even more beautiful than what it was. That doesn't mean that you won't still have those broken pieces in there, but it can still be strengthened and resurfaced into something new and more beautiful and even stronger, so that we become more appreciative of it. And now those battle scars become, beautiful wounds, really, that can, help you to appreciate where you once were, and appreciate where you are now. So trust can be rebuilt. I don't want you all to walk away thinking that uh, our relationship is too far gone, that this situation is too far gone, because nothing is ever too far gone for God, ever. But just know that it may not look like what it was, and that now it will have to look like something new, and work towards building that relationship into that new thing. And that may mean that you all are not together, right? Maybe sometimes we can rebuild trust, but that doesn't mean that it's always going to keep you together, right? It just means, the person may still choose to be apart from you, right? Like, maybe they'll choose to not want to stay married, or they may choose to not want to stay in relationship, on a romantic level. However, they may choose to stay in relationship with you, right? Like, it doesn't, you all don't have to have ill will towards each other. You don't have to hate each other and be ugly and mean and rude and to each other. So, you know, respect how it is they want to move forward. The relationship may look new with you all not being together, or it may look new with you all being together. It's a matter of, how you all choose to move forward, but it still needs to be created new. All right. So trust can be rebuilt, brokenness can be healed, and you don't have to walk away from it or move forward in it with hate and animosity towards each other. So just focus on these things: time and patience, consistency in your behavior, consistency in your words, and consistency in your actions, full honesty and transparency, keeping yourself available, not shutting the person down or shutting the person out, and making new memories, making new healthy memories. uh, Spending time together, doing new things, and refortifying what was once broken. All right. So that's all I have for you all this morning. I'm going to say a little prayer because I haven't said a prayer in a minute, at least on here. So I'm going to say a quick prayer for those of you all who are in the midst of a broken relationship, in the midst of trying to figure out how to rebuild some trust. Father, thank you for this day. Thank you for this message, this word. I pray that it reaches those that it needs to reach. Whoever is out there who has had their hearts broken, their spirit has been crushed behind the actions of another, I just ask that you come in and do some healing and some repairing, and to rebuild some trust in the hearts of those who have had their hearts broken. Father, nothing is too far gone that you cannot repair. You are you are able to do above all that we can ever ask or imagine. And you can make a new thing so beautiful, more beautiful than it ever was. So do some healing in some of these broken relationships. Prepare the hearts and minds of the person who has had their heart broken. Remind us, Father, that we break your heart every day, and yet you still have trusted us with the gift of salvation. So, Father, just as you give us new opportunity, new grace, and new mercies each and every day, we ask that you give us that same heart towards those who have broken us, towards those who have hurt us. Grace and mercy that we do not deserve, grace and mercy that they do not deserve, in order that we might be able to give you glory. So, Father, heal these broken relationships, heal this broken trust, rebuild, help us to refocus on you and the things that you've called us to do, and make these things more beautiful than we ever imagined that they could be. Father, we love you. We thank you. These things I ask in your Son, Jesus' name. Amen. All right. Hey, East Media, how are you? Good to see you. Good to see you. I appreciate seeing you this morning. All right, I'm going to head out. I have a training all day today at work, so I'm not excited about that. But I am here. I'm thankful to be here. I'm happy to have been able to spend this time with you all. And just know that I'm praying for y'all. And I'll be back here on Friday. I'll be back Friday. I may not be here at 7 in the morning, but I will be here Friday. And we're going to be talking about a minute to win it, a minute to win it. When you have just a little time of a person's attention to say what you need to say, to, do what you need to do in order to make a change. So, anyway, I will be back Friday. You all take care. I love you all. Be encouraged, and, you know, take care of yourselves. Love you. Bye bye.